Hello everyone, my name is Rafal and welcome to my vlog. So today's vlog will be slightly different. Today's vlog, I would like to dedicate it entirely to everyone who is looking for a headshot photographer. I know this process might be sometimes difficult and confusing, and a lot of people don't even know what they're looking for. So hopefully this vlog give you a little bit of clearance how to find the right person for you and how to find a good headshot photographer who will create amazing headshot for you. So I decided to do like a 10 steps or 10 kind of tips which will help you with this entire process, and I'm gonna go through this step by step, and hopefully by the end of this vlog you will be fully prepared how to approach this entire thing and how to get the right person. So let's jump into this and let's discuss all those steps. So the first tip is choose a photographer whose style you love. So this is something which is extremely important. Especially I found that a lot of clients, what I'm getting, they pretty much don't know what they're looking for. They coming and they basically saying, well, I just need a headshot and I don't even know what I like, what I'm looking for, and what kind of headshot I even need. So this is something which I'm gonna be straight honest with you. You have to figure it out first what you're looking for, because that's gonna help you not only find the right person but also get the image which you will be kind of using and you will be happy with. So this is something extremely important. So how to do it, this is kind of the most important part, and I can actually give you a couple tips how to find the style of headshots which you really like. So the best way is pretty much go online, Google headshots, and then start looking for different types of headshot photography or just the headshot pictures, and then put them into some kind of gallery where you can actually just go through them and just look at them. And then when you have, let's say, I don't know, 20-30 images, you can really easy say, well, those are the shots which I really like, and then it's much easier to match those shots with the work of photographer, because then you at least know exactly what you're looking for. So this is the kind of easy way, and then you can just know exactly what you're looking for. And when photographer even get those images and you can provide them what kind of style you're looking for, it's much easier to recreate them or do something similar. So this is going to be tremendous help not only for the photographer, but also this is going to help you a lot with you know, getting the image which you are going after. So the next step is choose someone who focus only or mainly on headshots. And this is another, I think, important tip, because you don't want to have a photographer who shoots everything, because usually what happens is you're gonna get average work. There's a lot of photographers like that. They shoot whatever comes their way, and sometimes, you know, it might be a little bit challenging, and I have to say that headshots are not as easy to shoot as people think. I'm getting this all the time that, oh, this is only a headshot, you know, what kind of science is behind it. But I can tell you, I've been shooting headshots for over 10 years and I'm still learning. There's so much into it you wouldn't believe. It's not only about equipment, the gear, there's a lot of additional stuff such as face expression, body language, proper lighting. There's so much into it that you have to have that knowledge in order to create this kind of work. And also you need to really specialize in that field to create some stunning images. And I have to say, it's not easy. So the best bet is just finding someone who specializes in that field. Basically, you're gonna skip all this headache and getting images which you might don't like and have some additional problems. So again, try to find someone who really knows what they're doing and specialize in that particular field of photography. Then the next tip is find someone with experience. So this is something which I've been just talking about a few seconds ago, but this is another important part. Try to find someone who has at least few headshot sessions under their belt, because you don't want to have someone who is just practicing on you or learning on you, because again, this is not gonna give you you know, good images. you might get something, but it's better to have someone who, you know, done several headshot sessions and have at least, I would say, couple years of experience shooting them to get you the stuff which you're looking for. So again, you have to basically ask the photographer how long they've been shooting, how many sessions they shot. Also, the website and all those other additional social media platform also kind of shows you how long they've been doing this. So this is extremely important, and make sure you ask about those kind of stuff. So the next step, and this is also a little bit of homework for the person who is looking for a headshot photographer, is ask for the portfolio and look for consistency. This is extremely important because this is going to show you how experienced the photographer is, if they can basically consistently create good headshots. Don't hire someone based on 1 or 2 images, and this is the biggest issue sometimes, because I've been hearing this constantly from clients and some other people that, you know, they saw this one image, they fall in love with it, and they hired a photographer, and at the end of the day they didn't get what they were looking for. So this is something which you have to really pay attention to, and you have to really check them out. Go to their website, go for the portfolio. If you see majority of their work which you really like, that means they can consistently actually provide those type of images. If you see one images which you like and there is most of them which you don't, that means this is the not right person for you. So just be careful, do your homework, check their work, and if you see good images and they providing those images consistently, that means this is the right person for you. So the next tip is, don't let the cost be the deciding factor. I know money is important. We sometimes have a specific budget for our headshot session, and we don't want to kind of abuse it, but this is something what you have to be very, very cautious, because sometimes, you know, the difference might be $50-100, but also the quality of work you're gonna get is gonna be also huge difference. Also, what I want to kind of aware everybody here who's watching this that sometimes we have to look into some details, because if the photographer, you know, offers you a very, very cheap headshot session, and let's say the photographer spends like 10 minutes with you, they're not gonna retouch the images, you're gonna get basically poor lighting, or, you know, any other stuff, you're still gonna pay, and at the end of the day you're gonna do this whole thing all over again, because you're probably not gonna be happy with the results. So just look for the details, look how much time they're gonna spend with you, if the image is gonna be retouched, how many closing options you might have. Just look into the details before you actually deciding on hiring someone and, you know, just agreeing to the price, because sometimes price doesn't tell you everything. Cheapest sometimes doesn't mean you're gonna get the best work. Usually those quick sessions, and if you, especially when you've never been at the front of the camera, you need more time. You need photographer to spend a little bit of extra time with you to get you to the place where he wants you to be, so he can get those amazing headshots for you, and it's not going to be just like, you know, in and out session where you're not gonna even have a chance to explore your face expressions and, you know, different posing, different lighting and stuff like that. I could go on and on about it, but before, you know, you decide like, okay, this is too expensive, make sure you look into the details to what you're getting back, because this is extremely important, and a lot of people forget about it. They just pretty much look at the price, and that's their deciding factor, and sometimes that might put you in a lot of troubles. I'm sure some of you guys have been into this process before and you experienced that, so just be careful about that stuff. The next tip is read the reviews carefully. So this is another, I would say, homework for the person. Just go online and see what kind of reviews the photographer has. Sometimes you can find some interesting stuff, sometimes you might have some bad stuff, but it's good to do a little bit of research. If the photographers, you know, have, I don't know, 40 positive comments, and you know, people are happy with the person's work, that means, you know, that gives you another, I would say, additional information to kind of, you know, convince you to hire the person. So make sure you go online, check some of those stuff, and yeah, you read them carefully, what people say. Also, sometimes you have to be careful, because even if photographer has one or two bad reviews, whatever, you have to also look into the details, what happened there, because if you have, let's say, 40 positive ones, that also is kind of shady. So you have to also kind of, you know, see and find a balance in this whole thing. But as I said, it's a good tip to go online and see what other people say about that photographer work and their experience working with that particular person. So the point number 7 and tip number 7 is communicate pre-shoot. And this is something what I'm gonna be not maybe forcing you guys, but make sure you do that. A lot of even my clients, they don't want to talk to me beforehand. They just want to get the shoot done and they're going to go through this process. But it's extremely important to talk to the photographer prior to shoot. Ask all your questions, talk to the person at least once or twice so you know what you're getting into. Also, sometimes, you know, if you have a time, it's good to meet the photographer, because that also kind of gets you the vibe, how the person is communicating with you, how is treating you, how basically, you know, if you have some kind of connection with the person. It's extremely important, because I have to say that shooting headshots is a very personal thing, and you have to have this specific connection with the person, because that person is going to guide you to get you to get a good headshot. And it's not easy. It's a little bit of process, but you also have to feel comfortable with the person, because if you shut down and if you're not going to have this specific connection, camera will capture that, and it's going to show on your photos, and it's going to basically reflect on all your headshots. So if you have even the most ridiculous questions, ask, because it's better to know beforehand. And most of those headshot photographers, they will be more than happy to talk to you and discuss some of those stuff, and basically go through this entire process and explain everything. And that's going to also is going to help you to feel more comfortable, to feel more confident, and it's going to just benefit you. So don't feel bad to ask questions, contact the person, and even meet with the person. That would be ideal. Sometimes I know we don't have time, we're busy, there is no need to do that in sometimes in people's opinion, but I highly recommend it to kind of ask and go and meet and talk, because that's gonna definitely make a huge difference and huge impact on the photo shoot. So the next thing is, and we touched this a little bit, ask about the cost breakdown. This is extremely important, and this is something what I'm gonna pretty much just kind of like put all my energy on, because the biggest kind of confusion sometimes is people don't ask the cost of the breakdown, and a lot of photographers, they don't want to say anything, because what happens is, if you don't know some of those information, they can basically charge you later on. So it's extremely important to know exactly what you're getting into and ask about every possible detail, because sometimes when we talk a little bit about it, the price might be kind of cheap, and then you have to look what you're getting for that price, because sometimes, you know, the price, it's very, very low, and then, you know, during the shoot, photographer will start adding stuff such as makeup, hairstyle, wardrobe changes, lighting changes, even retouching on the top of that, and this little tiny price might go into some insane amount. So you need to know beforehand exactly what you're paying for, what you're getting, what you have to pay extra, and all this information. So make sure before you stand up at the front of the camera, before you even get into the photo shoot, make sure you know exactly what you're paying for and what you're getting, because that sometimes is very, very confusing. And as I said, some of those photographers, they're not going to tell you everything, and then you get this massive bill and you're going to be just like, oh my god, like I didn't even know those information, I didn't even know I have to pay for this extra, and then becoming a problem, sometimes getting into the fight, argument, and at the end of the day, like, you know, photographers frustrated, you're frustrated, there is miscommunication, and it's just causing massive problems, massive issues. And to avoid that, make sure before you get into anything, you know exactly the pricing, and that's gonna help you big time. So the next tip is make sure photographer can meet all your headshot requirements. And I'm gonna just touch this a little bit. I know there's tons of different headshots types and styles, and sometimes when it comes to some corporate work, I found the companies have specific requirements. Let's say gray background or white background, or specific clothing or specific angle. There's tons of all those little things which you know, the company might put on your headshot that has to be met, and photographer has to follow that. So also before you do your headshot, ask those questions to photographer. If the photographer is able to do that. Also, it's important to get those information from your company. If you, let's say, planning to do new website, or you know, any that kind of type of work, you also might have some specific requirements, and that might, you know, just make sure you deliver those information to the photographer beforehand, and also ask if the photographer is even able to do it. Because let's say if you're looking for specific background and photographer is going to shoot all those images in a cinematic style, then it's going to be a problem. So make sure to tell the person, because I have also stories that I have a client and they have different requirements, different expectation. We shoot what I wanted, because they told me like, oh, shoot whatever, and then like, oh, I wanted this, but I just didn't know what exactly they needed and what the requirements were before. So this is also extremely important, the communication, and also letting the photographer know what exactly you're looking for, because that's going to be huge help, and then it's not going to be any disappointments afterwards. So the last tip, and this is also extremely important, protect yourself and sign a contract. So this is something which there's not too many photographers do that. Sometimes we getting into the photo shoot, we do the work, and then we getting into some issues. So I highly recommend it. Even you can ask photographer for a contract or some type of you know, information where they can actually write down everything, what you're getting, what you're paying for, so then everything is clear and you can get into the headshot session without any issues, without any kind of like surprises later on, and you're going to be protected. Because if, let's say, you have specific agreement and the photographer will change some stuff, you can say, hey, look, you know, we've signed completely different agreement, let's stick to what we've signed. Because when you don't have sometimes stuff on the paper, they're becoming problems and issues, and it's good to have something beforehand and signed by both parties to make sure everyone is on the same page, and that's gonna protect you from some kind of surprises, additional costs, or some additional crazy stuff which might come out later on. And again, I've been in those situations before. When I started off, I also didn't protect myself as a photographer, I didn't protect my client, and then they kind of understood what I was saying differently, and then this create, you know, some unnecessary issues and misunderstanding, and then confusion, and then we had some kind of you know, situations which we could avoid simply by signing the contract, and we both would know exactly what is going on. So those are the 10 tips. I hope they were helpful. I know I've been chatting a lot. There's way more into it. I could go for another, I would say, 20 minutes, but I think this is the most important and the most crucial information to help you to find the right person for your headshot session. So if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, and if there's anything else you would like to ask, please feel free to contact me for social media, for my email, for my website, whatever works best for you, and I will be more than happy to answer all your questions and all your concerns. So thank you for watching. I'm hoping that there's some photographers also watching that, so that's also maybe help them a little bit to kind of you know, see the other side of the story. And you know, the clients also sometimes you know, they have a lot of questions and they don't understand this entire process. So it's important to educate people on both sides to make sure the process itself is much easier. It's less confusing, and at the end of the day everyone is happy, and yeah, this whole thing works really well. So again, thank you for watching. I would like to wish you guys fantastic week, and I will chat with you guys very soon. Bye bye.